Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, then welcome. If you've watched my last video, then welcome back. The last video that I posted did quite well. It was the first video I've posted on this channel. I've posted one other video on another YouTube channel back in 2019. The video got like 85,000 views and I can't get back into the channel, so it's quite annoying. So we're starting again. So if you're new here, I'd encourage you to subscribe if you like content that motivates you, if you like content that you can actually take something out of the video and implement it into your life, and if you just like learning new things, especially if you like online business, or if the idea of running your own online business intrigues you, then I would encourage you to subscribe, because the YouTube algorithm is only going to send you more content that you will find valuable. So it's in your best interest and mine to help me grow the channel, to subscribe. So in today's video, I want to do something a bit different to the last one. It's not going to be me talking in front of the camera the whole time. I'm actually going to cut to a clip of one of the lessons that I created for the people that I mentor. I run a mentorship program called Agency Ignition. Not going to talk about it too much. You know, you can go and do your research in your own time, but I run a digital marketing agency where I help businesses grow, and I teach people how to start their own agency as well. So this is a clip from inside the program. Now, I'm not going to put too many of these on YouTube because there's people in there who have invested to get inside, and of course I don't want to leak all of it, you know, but this value here is for anybody. It's not just for someone who wants to start an online business. It's for anybody who has gone through something in their life, and it's how to use the thing you went through, you know, the bad thing that happened to you, whatever it was, the thing that you overcame, how to use that as energy to overcome anything else that you go through in life. You know, there's too many people who go through things, and naturally when you're going through something, I've said going through a lot, you know, it's normal to think negative and not see the light at the end of the tunnel. But what you need to realize is the most successful people in life and some of the most amazing people went through the hardest things in life. And I'm a strong believer that they only build you up, they don't break you down, and they can make you stronger. So here is a video of me on the magic whiteboard going through a bit about my journey, some of the things I went through in my childhood. Medically, I've got a long kind of complex medical history, and that's the bit I'm going to focus on in the video. And hopefully this video gives you some value. You know, if you're new here, subscribe. You know, I want to make sure that you get as much information from this video as possible in terms of value. And if you like the video and you subscribe, then you're only going to get more value in the future. So enjoy the video. Let me know what you think at the end. Feel free to drop a comment, and I hope that this helps somebody watching this video. Hope everybody is well. I just wanted to make a quick video because I'm feeling very motivated recently. I've just finished reading a book called David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. Don't know if anybody in here has read it before, but it's changed my life. And there's a few takeaways which I learned from the book, which I want to kind of pass on to all of you. Now, a lot of these lessons I already implemented in my life. There's a lot of things in the book that I can now implement as well. But I think everybody here should read that book. I'll show you the book now. Can't Hurt Me. This is the book. Honestly, life-changing. Anybody who has read the books that I've already recommended in the community and you're looking for another book you haven't read, read this book. But I want to touch on some mindset things. So I've got my magic whiteboard, and let me kind of get into what I had in mind. So when you're on this journey, so you're here, some of you will be further along this journey than others, but I'm going to be speaking mostly to the people who are starting out and they're still trying to get their mindset right. So you're here, you're feeling hopeful, you know, but you're trying to get over here. You're trying to get to this point in life where you have, in this instance, you've got a successful agency, you're super, super happy, and, you know, you're making money and all of the stuff that comes with having a successful online business. Now, every single person in this community, I would have went through this with you on our initial call, and I would have asked you, what are your whys? So your whys are the things that will help you get from where you are, if your agency, if you've got no clients and you're currently making no money, to a point where you hit your goal. Everyone's got different goals. Some people are happy with $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month. Other people want to do 10, 20, 30, 40K a month. But the most common answer I get amongst the people who I've been mentoring is they want to get to 10K a month. So we'll use that as the example. Now, on this journey, you will find that it tends to look like this. It starts off kind of slow, and then you start building momentum. You start getting some conversations going with businesses, and then you get eventually, you might lose momentum and people stop replying. But if you do all your follow-ups, if you do your outreach, if you're consistent with all of your numbers and you do everything that I've told you to do, including reaching out to me if you need help, including, doing the outreach properly, doing your follow-ups, doing the numbers, sending as many DMs as you can every day, you're going to get conversations going. And then eventually you're going to book in a call. And then you might close that call, you might not. Either way, your first sales call is going to be a very good experience, and it's going to build character, and you can also watch the call back and learn from that call. So whether you close your first sales call, whether that turns into a paying client, or whether you use it as a kind of learning curve and an experience, either way, all you get out of it is a win. You don't lose anything from having this call. So let's say, for example's sake, you have the call and then you don't close it and you feel like you're down here again, okay? But then what we do is we assess the call, send me over your sales calls, drop me a DM, and I will review all of your sales calls and give you feedback on how you can improve. And then you might have another call. You might not close that. But then you have another call and you close that, okay? And then you've got your first client. A lot of people tend to get comfy with their first client and they'll stop doing outreach. The reason I tell you to hire a media buyer is because they will take care of service delivery for you. Okay, so they'll be running the ads for your clients. They'll be communicating with your clients in a WhatsApp group chat, and you can focus on doing outreach and sales. The whole point of automated service delivery from day one is that you can focus on the other areas of the business. So you get your first client here, you get your first paycheck, whatever it is, £1,000, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is, congratulations, okay? Now, you want to keep going with outreach, because otherwise what happens is you might lose that client and then you back down here again. And if anything, you'll feel like you're down here because you feel like you were winning, and then it kind of goes wrong, right? So let's say, for example, you get your first client, you keep getting clients, and then, the business scales up. This is kind of a very rough, not very detailed timeline of how it works. You do some outreach, you get some results, nothing happens for a little bit. Then you book a meeting all of a sudden. You might close the call, you might not. If you don't, you do another meeting, or you might start booking meetings and then people don't show up. That could be the thing that goes well. And then all of a sudden it starts to go bad and slow down. My point is, right, on this journey, you're filled with ups and downs. And over time, these ups and downs in a trajectory will go up. The business model is you go through ups and downs. You have positive things that happen, you have negative things that happen, but eventually you will hit your target of 10K per month. The reason I'm saying that is because I have done it myself. I've gone way past 10K per month, and all of the strategies that I'm teaching you is exactly what I did. So this blueprint here that we've got down here, this blueprint that I've given you to get from 0 to 10K plus a month with your agency, is everything I did to get to 10K plus per month, and everything that students you see in here who already have clients and they're already making money, it's everything they did as well. Now, the only reason that this might not work for you is if your whys are not powerful enough. So when you're having these ups and downs, it's very easy to stay motivated and keep working when things are going well. When you're on an upward trajectory and you've just signed a client and you're making money, you're chilling. But when things start going wrong and things start going bad, that is when the challenge kicks in. Now, one of the things that I learned in the David Goggins, I already knew this, I already implemented it in my life, but one thing that has opened my eyes and made me focus on is when you're struggling, there's two things you need to remember. You need to remember what you've been through. So you're here trying to start your business, but let's take it back in time, okay? Back here when you're a baby. There you go, that works quite well with that little squiggle. Looks like a bit like a pig, but we'll try and draw a dummy. All right, that's you, baby you, whatever your name is, whoever it is that's watching this, okay? It's a bit of a freaky baby, but we'll move. All right, so that's baby you, okay? The majority of people go through some shit in their life, different levels, different scales, and different things, right? Some people, it might be family problems. Some people, it might be loss of people that you care about. Some people, it might be bullying. Some people, it might be, the list goes on, right? For me personally, I don't want to give too much away, but I do want to be transparent with you all as well. Some of the main things that kind of built me up, there's a lot of personal family things, a lot of things that I don't talk about. There's a lot that I keep to myself. But the things that I've been open about on social media in the past is my medical history. So when I was, and we'll go into why this is actually relevant in a minute, but say for example, this is me, this is baby Lewis, all right? I promise you I actually looked better than that when I was younger, but we move. So me, I was born, I had 2 kidneys, and after a couple months, one of my kidneys disappeared. So, that's me, 2 kidneys, they're like weird nipples. And then one of my kidneys disappeared at a few months old. This caused loads of problems, loads of operations that I had to have. Got big scars on my stomach from operations I had at a few months old. That was one of the first things that happened in my medical history. Then when I was a few months old, I got these pains in my abdominal, in my stomach, where it would basically be uncontrollable cramping pain and muscle pain. So it was spasms, and it would cause me to be very violent when I was little. I would run around punching all the other students and chasing them and throwing things at people. And the only way I knew to deal with the pain was violence and running around and, not being able to deal with that energy. So I used to have these electronic pads on my stomach. And I used to have a remote, something called a TENS machine. And this TENS machine used to have buttons on it, used to have little dials on it. And the way it would work is when I had the pain, I would turn the dial up. So I'd turn it up and it would send an electric shock to the pads on my stomach. And this would help with the pain that I had. Now, it didn't really help with the pain. And when I was going through school, a lot of kids and a lot of other people, I had loads of wires under my t-shirt at a very young age, and they would rip the wires off and they would knock the dial so it turned up and electrocuted me. Not fun. And then that was probably from the ages of around 4 to 8. And then from 8 years old to 11, 12, 13 years old, the pain that I had in my stomach moved to my legs. And what this meant was my muscles in my legs would basically spasm. I would drop to the floor. I would roll around on the floor in pain, and I would be screaming on the floor. And they never knew what caused any of it. They never knew what caused the pain in my stomach. They never knew what caused the leg pain. But this led to me being in a wheelchair. So I was in a wheelchair from the ages of let me try to draw this chair. It's like a jetpack, but we move. So that's my wheelchair. It's actually not that bad, to be fair. And I was in a wheelchair from the ages of 8 to 10, 11 years old. And it was precautionary. So every time that I would have leg pain, I would drop to the floor, rolling around, screaming in pain, and it would happen in an instant. I could be walking down the stairs. My mum still got videos of me as a young kid screaming in pain with my legs spasming. And they basically put me in a wheelchair so that when I fell over, I didn't hit my head, I didn't crack my skull open, and I didn't end up really, really hurting myself, okay? Now, this was obviously very rough. Then when I turned 14 and I hit secondary school, just the same way that my stomach pain disappeared when I was a few years old and it moved to my legs, the leg pain disappeared completely. Now, when I was in primary school, majority of my life I was in hospital. I was not able to participate in school, so I didn't have a lot of friends, and it was a very hard time in my life, right? I couldn't take part in PE because I was in so much pain. I used to have to watch all the other kids run around. Now, when I started secondary school, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I think you're like 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, something like that. But we'll say 14 for example's sake. The leg pain went away, and out of nowhere, I basically got very strong and pretty muscly, and I could do sport. So I remember actually, just before I started secondary school, it was race day. I had the race course, and it was me and loads of other people, and it was sports day on the last day of school. And I remember my pain just went away. I just got out of the wheelchair, and I remember running that 100 meters, and I remember winning, and I remember being the fastest kid in the school after going through all that pain in my legs and not being able to be in hospital and kidney disappearing, and not being able to be in school, just living in hospital for the first 10 years of my life. And I remember that feeling. This is very important to remember, and we come back to this shortly, but I remember that feeling of winning that race. So I remember how happy it made me. I remember just feeling on top of the world, feeling like I definitely look better than that, feeling like I had, literally just transitioned from someone who could never do sport, who, somebody who struggled in school to make friends. And then all of a sudden I won sports day. And if you're popular, if you're good at sports in school, you tend to attract other people. Like, it's just the way it works when you're kids. So I started to get some friends, and I essentially became a whole new person, and a whole new life started. Then I started secondary school, and I took this gift that I'd been given by life, God, the universe, whatever you believe in. And all of a sudden I was one of the fastest, strongest in my year in secondary school, in year 7, in my first year. And it was just genetics, probably. It could have had something to do with all the pain that I had. These muscle pads and the pain obviously means my muscles were always getting exercised, and a lot of tension for my age, constantly 24/7, always being in pain. So I don't know what it was, but I went to secondary school, and then I basically started playing basketball, and 5'7", white basketball player. I could nearly dunk a full-size basketball at 15, being 5'7", and I could jump over people's heads and do all that crazy stuff. And then, cut a long story short, ended up playing basketball really high level. And then when I was 15, 16, I realized that I had blood pressure problems, heart problems, and essentially this stopped me playing basketball. So I was going to England training centres. We used to call it RPC, Regional Performance Centres, where the best players from each region would go and perform, and the best players from that would get selected for England, basically. So it was me. I was 15, 16 years old, small, 5'7" white kid against, all these giants, and I was trying to compete with everyone. And the only thing that got me through it all is the mindset, and the fact that I had been through all of this shit, and the fact that I went from being a person who looked like that in a wheelchair with all these pads and everything to, winning that race in primary school and being able to take part in sport, and then going into basketball, being the top scorer in the basketball teams, and being the person who could jump the highest and run the fastest and all this stuff I always tried my best. Like, even if there was someone faster or stronger than me, I had something to prove, because I'd already proved myself in the past, and I craved that feeling again. Okay, this is all going to make sense in a minute why I'm going into all this. 15, 16, wanted to keep playing basketball. I couldn't. I had heart problems, blood pressure problems. It's still all big question marks. They don't know anything. My heart rate, blood pressure would go through the roof, really high, even when I was just chilling out on the sofa, or it would drop really low. So the issue is they couldn't give me medication to lower my heart rate and lower my blood pressure, because when it was low and I took the medication, it would drop even lower. So long story short, this stopped me playing basketball, and there's loads of other medical conditions that I've got. That's the surface of it, but we'll just stop there. My point is, I then took this mentality I had with basketball and I put it into business. And let's go back to this thing here, your whys. So on your journey to build your agency, we all have a story. We've all been through stuff in our life. You might have had a very good life compared to somebody else. You might feel like you've had a been played some difficult cards and you've had a difficult life compared to other people around you. But my point is, everybody's gone through challenges. There's 1 or 2 times where you would have gone through something in your life and been proud of it. It could have been as small as winning a race. It could have been as, for me, it was winning a race. Or it could have been a bigger thing, like for me, growing Banter and Talent, the meme page on Instagram, to 2 million followers and leaving my job and doing that full time. That was a big highlight of my life, even though the page got deleted. It could be small, like a little 100-meter race you win in the last year of primary school, or it could be a bigger thing. Either way, you've been through stuff in your life. So what I want everybody to do is an exercise that I want you to do is to think about what you've been through in your life. Think about times where cards were played against you and you made it out the other side. It could have been you went through a nasty breakup. It could have been you used to get bullied and you stood up to a bully. It could have been the teacher said you were stupid, you couldn't get good grades, and you got good grades. It could be anything at all, but think of a time when the odds were stacked against you and you proved people wrong and you came out the other side. So write that down, think of that. Pause the video now, write it down. Then when you come back, I want you to look at that time that you thought of, or those multiple things you thought of, and I want you to remember how you felt in that moment. Close your eyes, bring yourself back to that point in time, sit silently and really try and relive that moment and feel those feelings, okay? Now, we'll say why that's important in a minute. So you have what you've been through previously, before, okay? You have the present, which is now, which is you here, if you're just starting your agency. And then you have your goal, okay? Now, for you to get from where you were before to where you are today, that's taken some, even if you've had a very easy life and you haven't gone through a lot, you've still grown physically since you were little and you've come a long way, okay? But building a business and pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself, it's not just money, it's not just running a business. Entrepreneurship is about developing yourself, your mind, your habits, your fitness, your health, your relationships with people, the quality of the person you are, how kind you are to people, and how much you do for the world, as well as making money and growing an agency, okay? So to get to your goal, it's hard. As I said, you have ups and downs, there's things that get in the way. Now, when you are in these periods where you are feeling down and things are difficult and the odds are stacked against you, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to remember the time when you'd gone through something and you'd made a transition before. And I want you to remember that feeling that you had when you did that transition or you overcame that obstacle that you had. So me personally, every time, for me, it took me a year to make money from this business. Banter and Talent, my 2 million follower meme page, which was my main income. I left university to do this page. The page got deleted. And for me, this, it hit rock bottom. Everything was going amazing, making loads of money, 2 million followers. I was very, I had lots of followers and people recognized me and all this cool stuff. I was living in a nice place, had a nice car, needed to get rid of all of it. And I crashed right back down. Lost all of my money, lost every single penny I made from Banter and Talent. I lost all of the followers, just everything was awful. Okay, so this was a point in my life where I was down here. And there's a few things that kept me going. There's a reason why I managed to rebuild a whole new business, multiple 6-figure business, going to close in on seven-figure business very soon. And the reason why I managed to do that after losing another multiple 6-figure, nearly 7-figure business and everything I had and just being hit rock bottom is because I remembered these things here. So the things I remembered was what I've been through before and how I felt when I've been through those things. I thought if I can go from somebody who was left out of school, didn't have any friends, couldn't take part in sport, I was told that I would die, I wouldn't even live for the majority of my life. All the odds were stacked against me. I was told I'd never be able to do sport. I would never be able to do all these things. I would the odds were stacked against me in every way, right? I would never be able to have friends. I would never be able to have a normal life, okay? And from somebody who was in a wheelchair, somebody who had electric pads on his stomach, on my stomach, causing loads of pain, used to roll around on the floor in pain with all my leg pain, heart problems, all of that stuff, to being somebody who won a race, could finally take part in sport, won that 100-meter race, and then ended up playing basketball at a very high level, despite being very short, despite still having problems and medical things that were holding me back. Those are the things that kept me going, because I thought, when I was down in this state, I thought, okay, I've been through that. If I can go through that, I can go through anything. And I took my mind back to how I felt when I started playing basketball, how I felt when things were going well, when I'd hit rock bottom, was told I couldn't build up again, and I did. I was told I couldn't do sport and the pain would never go. The pain went, and I did sport and I won the race. And then I thought back to how I felt when I won that race, and I realized that even though I'm down here at the moment, and I lost the meme page, and I lost all my income, and I lost everything, all my money, I had to move back in with my parents, sell my car, all this stuff happened. I was rock bottom. But I remembered how it feels to go from rock bottom to this place up here. Now, that is more powerful than you know. If you can think of times where you've overcome things, whether it's winning a little race, whether it's playing basketball high level, whether it's going through a nasty breakup and coming out the other side and realizing how awful you felt when you broke up, and then how amazing you felt when you'd healed from that. Whatever the hell it is you've gone through in life, you need to think about what you've been through before, and that will help you keep going, okay? So that's thing number one that helped me get from rock bottom to where I am now. The other thing that helped me get there is my whys. Now, the whys are, why do you actually want to get to this goal? Now, this can be for any kind of goal in life, whether it's for your agency. Everyone who's in here is trying to build a marketing agency, and that's a goal that we all have in common. So we'll stick with that. Your goal is to make 10 grand a month or whatever it is with your agency, right? So what you want to do is you want to, another exercise, write down why you want to hit 10 grand a month. Okay, so let's give an example. I'll give my example. The reason why I wanted to make 10 grand a month is because I wanted to make sure my family is good. That's number one. I wanted to make sure my family was good. And then let's break that down some more. I wanted to make sure that my family never struggles. I wanted to make sure that, if anything ever happened and my family was struggling for money, I could look after them. But also, I'm in a situation now where my family, they're doing okay for money. My stepdad is working. He's done very well at his job, built his way up over his whole life, and he's now doing okay. But if anything ever happens, I'm prepared for the worst. If he's providing for the family at the moment, but if anything happened to him, I'll make sure my family never struggles, and I'll make sure that they can go on holidays, and I'll make sure that, the family is good. They've got a house, they've got food over their head. So break it down. What does looking after your family actually mean to you? If that's one of your reasons, family is one of them. Another reason for me is I've always been inspired by expensive things. I'm not super materialistic, and I understand that everything is not about expensive things, but being from someone who could never afford things before, and now I can, I like expensive things. So I don't have it on today, but I've got a Rolex. I've got, I've had nice cars in the past, and I never want to fall into that trap of being all about the money and materialism. But I have realized, looking deep in myself, that one of the things that motivate me is expensive things, cars and things like that. It doesn't mean that I splash out all the time. There's cars and things that I can afford now that I don't actually get, but I just use them as motivation, And the reason why I'm like that, so let's say, expensive things, you can break down your goals even more. So why did I want to make 10 grand a month? Wanted to make sure my family's good. That's a very number one. Expensive things, that is not by all means the priority and the main reason I wanted to do this, but it is part of it. Okay. And the reason why do I want expensive things? Well, when I was younger, I didn't have money. And as I said, when I was in school, I didn't have a lot of friends, didn't have a lot of attention, and I felt like I was always an outsider. So deep down in my soul, there's a part of me that feels like I have something to prove, and I feel like I need to impress people and prove myself to everyone, okay? And is what it is, I can't help it. That's the way that my mind is wired. So that is why I like expensive things. What else? I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted freedom. Freedom is what it comes down to. So 10K per month would give me freedom. And that would be time freedom. So I could work any hours I wanted. I didn't have to go to a job and work certain hours. Gave me location freedom. So I could work from wherever I wanted in the world. If I wanted to go on holiday, take my girlfriend on holiday, take my family on holiday, just leave today and go on holiday by myself, then I could do that. And I can do that. Time freedom, location freedom, and then financial freedom. So there's no limit to what you can make with an online business. 10K per month is tiny compared to what you can make. There's people out there making millions from their agency every week. So you want to break down all of your whys. I could keep going on and on and on with my list of whys, but these are some common things, okay, that I hear a lot of people say. They want to make sure their family's good. They want to buy expensive things or treat themselves, or they have a watch or a dream car, or they want to buy a house or whatever it is. Houses are expensive things. It doesn't have to be materialistic objects. A house is expensive. If you want to build a house and get on the property market, that's quite an expensive thing. Or it might be more freedom related. You want time freedom, you want to work at the hours you want location freedom, you want financial freedom, okay? So coming back to this, the things you need to keep in mind when you are building your business or when you're trying to achieve any goal in life, is you want to think about what goals have you achieved before, or what things have you overcome in your life that felt impossible at the time and felt like you weren't going to progress and move on from that thing, okay? Because those feelings of how you felt and realizing you've been through that so you can go through anything in your life and get to the other side, those feelings will help you when you're at this low point and you're at rock bottom, okay? Now, you also want to picture yourself in this goal, but you don't just want to think, okay, I want to make 10 grand a month. That'll be cool. That's the goal. The real goal and the real goals is, why do you want to hit that? 10K per month is cool, but that's just a number. What does that goal do for you? And your whys, these things over here, are the things that will motivate you. So when you are in this situation where you struggle to see success, or if your agency journey is slow, if you're not getting any replies for your outreach, if you're not closing any calls on your sales calls, if you've got some clients and you're not getting good results and you feel like they're all going to leave, you need to keep going and not give up. Because as I said, this is a proven blueprint. Exactly what I did to get my agency from 0 to over 10K per month. And there's no reason that this won't work, because it worked for me. And the best thing is, all of the little things that I did that didn't work or slowed me down or I should have done differently, they're all taken out of the picture and put over here. So you literally have the perfect blueprint to get to 10 grand a month. Everything in this community is here to help you, and it will work if you do it. And you've got my support the whole time as well, on WhatsApp, on the weekly calls as well. So there's no reason this won't work. The only reason it won't work is if you are here and you let your negative mind talk you into thinking you can't do it, and then you give up. That's the only reason this won't work. The way you're going to stop that is you're going to think about before what you've been through in your life and how you overcame it and how you felt when you overcame it and how good it's going to feel when you overcome this struggle here and you close your first client or you book your first meeting or you get to 10 grand a month. And what do those things lead to? They lead to your real goals. Your goal isn't 10 grand a month. That might be a goal, but it might not be the real goal, really what you're trying to achieve. You want to look after your family, for example. You want to make sure you can retire your parents. You want to buy your mum a car. You want expensive things. You want to buy a house. You want property, whatever it is. I don't want to put words into your brain. You need to write down your own whys. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe you don't want to work, 9 to 5 every day. Maybe it's location freedom. You don't want to travel into the office, get the train into London. You want to be able to work from wherever you want from home. Or maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe you want just to be able to not have to look at the prices and just tap your card everywhere and not have to worry about that. Whatever your whys are, I want you to write them down. So I want you to write down your life story, kind of like I have now. It's a very brief summary of my story, and I've been through a lot more than this, but these are some, main events that I feel comfortable sharing. And these events you want to write down. You want to write your own kind of timeline. You want to write things you overcame, and you want to write down how you felt when you overcame them, and really sit there, close your eyes, and relive those moments, okay? And then the other thing you want to do is you want to write down your whys. Why are you even in this community in the first place? Why are you even putting in the work to grow a business? Why not just work a job, okay? And then you want to picture yourself making 10K a month. And then you also want to picture yourself, a year from now. So for example, let's say it takes you 1 year to get to 10K per month, okay? You also want to picture yourself 1 year from now, and imagine if you're still doing the same things that you are now. So if you work in a job you hate, if you're in a position where you want to buy your mum a car, but you can't, if you're in a position where you can't travel, you can't work the hours you want to work, whatever it is, you want to picture yourself a year from now, 2 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and think, how will that feel if I am still doing that thing? If I'm not where I want to be, if I don't hit this goal, if I don't hit these goals. And then that is everything you need. So you need to think about number one, okay, let's kind of summarize. You need to think about what you've been through before in your life and how you felt after. And how you felt during it as well, because you're probably going through pain, suffering, mentally trying to get this business to work. So you need to understand you've been through things before and you've came out the other end. So you need to think about things you've been through before. Number two, you want to think about your goals and, more importantly, your whys. Okay, write all of them down. Number three, you want to think about what will happen if you don't change, and if you don't continue with this business, and if you just give up. You won't be able to do all of your whys. Is what if will happen. That is what will happen if you don't. And then the other thing to remember is that this is literally a proven blueprint from A to Z, how to scale an agency, exactly like I did, without all the mistakes that I made. And you've got the support of me, and you've got the support of each other in the community, and you've got video lessons, and you've got everything you need. So the only reason why this won't work and you won't hit 10K per month is if you give up. So I hope this has been motivating and inspiring for some people and has really made you think about your goals. But just remember that when things aren't going well, you don't give up. If you do give up, then you're never going to hit those goals. You're never going to hit your whys. And your whys is what's going to power you through in these hard times. It's what's powered me through when the meme page was deleted. It's what powered me through when I was in a wheelchair thinking I can never walk again, let alone play basketball, jump over people's heads at 5'7" and, windmill dunk Fanta cans when I was 15 years old. All of that stuff shouldn't have been possible. And I should not be able to be where I am with the business I've got now, teaching you all how to build the exact same business without making the mistakes I made. And I would not be able to do that if I gave up when the meme page got deleted. I would have went back, I would have got a job, I would have given up on any dreams I had of building a business, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I remember what I've been through, how I felt when I overcome those things. I remembered what my goals are and what my real goals are. Why do I want to hit those goals? And then I thought, what if I don't actually put the work in, stay consistent, keep grinding even when it's difficult down here? What if I actually don't carry on? And if I just give up, I'll never be able to do all of these whys. So big mindset video. Just to prove you've watched this video, I want you to drop me a message on WhatsApp, and I want you to give me your opinion on the video. I want you to tell me your thoughts. If it motivated you, let me know. And also give me the keyword saying mission completed. Okay? If you've watched this all the way to the end, message me on WhatsApp saying mission completed and send me your thoughts. And big respect to everybody who's done it. Hope this has motivated some people. This is a video you can watch again and again and again when you're doubting yourself. And I really hope this helps anyone who's struggling with booking calls, closing clients, whatever it is, getting your clients results. Just make sure that you reach out and you use the support that I've given you. You have everything you need here to get an agency to 10 grand a month. It's up to you whether you utilize that support that I'm giving you and whether you give up or not. The choice is yours. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon.